So here we're going to be looking at, my name is Michael Mastro. Welcome to my YouTube channel, um, Transformational Vedic Astrology. Today we're going to look at the chart for Sean Penn, born August 17, 1960, at 3:17 p.m. in Burbank, California. If you look to the eastern horizon when he was born, you would see the constellation associated with Scorpio rising at 23 degrees. 23 degrees becomes the most effective point of every house. So any planet like Rahu and Ketu, like Mercury, like Saturn, that are within 5 degrees have uh, some impact in his chart. Um, we look at each one of these triangles or squares represents some aspect of someone's life, and all the aspects are represented in every chart. And wherever there's a multicona sign, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11, that is the area that they came here to work on in this lifetime. So remember, like many planets rule two signs, but one sign they are more connected to, and that becomes the multicona sign. So let's just look at the multicona signs. So here you see the Aries, the first sign, ruled by Mars. So he's come here to learn about health issues. He's come here to learn about conflicts, debts, divorce, fire, theft, and cheating. Then here you see the fourth sign, Cancer, ruled by Moon. He's come here to look at government, issues with government. He's very critical of government, good fortune, spiritual growth. Come here, this is Leo, ruled by Sun. So this is the house of career, really focused on career. This is Virgo, ruled by Mercury, sixth sign. Income and friendships, very big focus. Seventh sign of Libra, ruled by Venus. So um, this house has to do with spiritual growth, but also um, feeling of separateness. So to be a good actor, you have to separate yourself from the part you're playing. So this is turning out to be somewhat helpful for him. But this also has to do with prison, hospitalization as well. Then we have the ninth sign of Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter. He's working on wealth and fame, recognition, as well as stability in his relationships. He's working on 11th sign Aquarius, ruled by Saturn, family, happiness, property. So those are the multicona signs. Now, next we want to look at the functional nature of the planet. So many schools of Vedic astrology see Mars as always a malefic, Sun as always a malefic. But I have seen over time that somebody might be in a Sun period, and in their chart, if it's not always considered benefic. It can cause a lot of issues depending on your rising sign. So we want to look at the functional nature of the planet. So Mars is always considered functional malefic, but definitely in this chart. So any planet, any multicona sign found in the 6th, the 8th, or the 12th house, their ruler, that planetary ruler of that sign, becomes functional malefic. So here we have Aries, ruled by Mars. So Mars is functional malefic. Here we have no multicona sign, so no issues. Here we have Libra, ruled by Venus. So Venus typically is thought to be a great planet, but I have seen charts where there's a Scorpio and somebody goes into a Venus period, and other astrologers tell them it's going to be the best, but they're having lots of losses and expenses and hospitalization, prison, divorce, things like that, end of life experiences. So Venus, Mars, Rahu, and Ketu are the malefics for this chart. So let's go through the planets, see how they're operating. Sun is at 1 degree. So any planet that's less than 5 degrees or more than 25 is said to be in old age or in infant state. So they cannot protect or promote their own significations. So Sun is in its own house, which is helpful, gives it some strength, but it's very weak in degrees. And so it says that he can have a career through playing political roles. Like Milk was a very political activist kind of a role, and that's one role that he got an Oscar for. Because Sun is weak, it can make him a little bit insecure. So that has something to do with his temper. It's lashing out at people also. So his father was banned from acting. So his father was a director and an actor and gave him good start. But also his father, died of lung cancer, I think, and then also got barred from acting because he wouldn't turn in friends who were part of the Communist Party. So that shows Sun is also represents father. So Moon represents mother, but also in this chart it rules this house of good fortune, politics, and government, and spiritual growth. So Moon is ruling that house of good fortune. So good fortune through playing dramatic emotional roles. Moon is emotion. It's in this house of 8th house, which has to do with researching roles to play in your acting career. So gives him a lot of emotion to his acting roles, which makes him successful. A lot of drama in those acting roles. So this is a house of drama. Mars is at 16 degrees, and we said it's functional malefic, and it's placed in the house of relationships. So conflict in relationships, basically. Also has a temper. It can be abusive. I think Madonna said he was abusive. Insecure and jealous, all of those things. Now, this is the house of service. So, in the past few years, he's been working on service projects with his service organization called CORE, where they help the earthquake victims in Haiti and lots of other humanitarian projects, including the coronavirus and helping funding of cures for the coronavirus and treatment. Mercury's at 18 degrees. It's ruling the house of income in France, placed in the house of good fortune. So it gives him income through communications. So the Mercury is communication and business. And so, yeah, income through communication and playing roles with strong belief systems. So this is a house of beliefs. And Mercury is can be critical. So critical of government and politics, things like that. Jupiter is at 0 degrees, close to the most effective point. No, it's not close to the most effective point, but it is 0 degrees, so very weak. So it's in its own sign, so it gives it a little bit of strength. And it is afflicted, I think, by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, Saturn's afflicted by Rahu. But it weakens that marital bond. So he's had 2 or 3 marriages and lots of relationships. And legal issues comes with Jupiter. So had some legal issues with being in jail and with abuse charges. Then Venus is at 17 degrees, and we know it's functional malefic. It's placed in the house of career. So Venus in itself is performing arts. So again, being in this house gives it that ability to separate himself from his roles. And also, this house has to do with addiction. So he had some alcohol abuse. Spent some time in jail for his abusive behavior, and also I think he was drunk while driving or something like that. Um, yeah, and also gives beautiful wives. Venus represents wife. Jupiter represents children. So Saturn is ruling the house of family, placed in the house of stability of family, and it is weak because its landlord, Jupiter, its house ruler, is weak. So that makes Saturn weak. So yeah, again, issues, conflicts in the family, stability there with the family, many relationships. Now, he has also been involved in a lot of service work with that core. So Saturn also has to do with service. So I'm thinking that strengthens Saturn. Rahu and Ketu are close to the most effective point. So that means they afflict 6 out of his 12 houses. Rahu afflicts Saturn, so again, can be ups and downs in the happiness in the family. And it afflicts, I think, the house of health and conflict. It afflicts the 8th house of drama, so very dramatic. So all of these houses have some ups and downs. Rahu, this relationship, Rahu is and Ketu are always here to teach you to balance. And Rahu gives ambition for career. And Ketu gives spiritual insights into family. But in this case, it's a balance of work and home life that he needs to learn. Too much into career, and the family suffers. So that's what's going on there. Now let's look at the timing of events, because not everything happens all at once. Was married in 85 to Madonna, and that was during a Saturn period. Saturn represents starting of a family. Broke up in 87. Also spent some time in jail during Venus. Having some transit issues with Venus in that time. And then in 06, his brother died during a Venus issued period. So end of family. Mars was also involved. Mars is a brother in his chart. Another relationship, I think, was with Robin Wright. Broke up in 2007. Transit Mars was in the 8th house of death-like experience or endings. And 2009, he got an Oscar for one of his movies. I don't know if it's Milk or another one, but that was during a Mercury period. So Mercury, giving good fortune. And then, most recently, he's pretty much devoted to his service projects, which really helps. So what would there be the remedies for the chart? So, helping people who cannot help themselves for Rahu, donating to spiritual organizations for Ketu, and helping men that are like brothers for Mars, helping women for Venus. So all of those are involved in that service project called Core. So he's really helping his chart a lot by chanting would be helpful. Kavash to strengthen all of his weak planets. His benefic planets, which are not Rahu, Ketu, Venus, or Mars. You don't want to strengthen his malefics. But yeah, Kavash containing the locket containing the Devata yantras for Moon, Mercury, Sun, Saturn, and Jupiter would be very helpful. Or wearing yellow sapphire, blue sapphire, diamond, ruby, green emerald, and moonstone. So those are the points for this chart. I think he's doing a lot of good work in the world and helping, particularly at this time with the coronavirus. Thank you for listening. If anybody would like a reading, you can go to vastucreations.com and under services and get a astrology reading. You can see this method of astrology is quite accurate in predicting things. And if you're interested in learning Vedic astrology, you can go to American Institute of Vastu.com. Let's see.